What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka NoCAP Podcast. It's your boy Evan, it's your boy Will. We are back under the Tiki Hut for another episode. We got plenty to talk about today, so we're going to just go ahead and dive right into it. Game 1 reactions. Thoughts? Scared?
Well, it
Happy?
was a game one. If you're a Boston, it's a game one to remember. That's for sure. I mean, I think I saw it was the largest halftime lead in the game one of the finals ever, or something like that.
Your best player has 8 points on top of it.
Yeah, I think Kyrie Irving finished with 12. We saw through the
6
OKC
for 19 shooting.
Yeah, I mean, through the OKC series as well as the last series against the Wolves, I started realizing at least that he really came alive in the second half of the games, and that wasn't really there this time. You know, it's game one, so obviously we don't want to be
court,
too,
no doubt, comfortable.
We don't want to jump the gun here by saying that there's some serious issues because.
So do you look at it? So you know, game one, you take the bump, you take the beat down, you go back, you recover, you get ready for game two. But when you're talking logistics and stuff, you can't have games like that in the finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I guess if your team overall, like Tatum had 8 points in the first half, like, okay, but your team was up 21.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie had like 6 points in the first half, and you were down 20. So it's like your superstars, I guess, can have those games if the other people of the team are like a Porzingis is also having, you know, a 20-point half. So
yeah, that's
it's really, I mean, especially at this point, like you hope everyone's on their P's and Q's with regards to getting ready for the biggest 7 game series of their lives.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, through the last two series, especially against OKC, Dallas, their role players, you know, Tim Hardaway, PJ Washington,
yeah,
Derrick
PJ didn't
Jones
really have a good
Jr.,
game either.
None of them had good games last night.
Mm-mm.
On top of that, we talked about how Dallas has so much size with Lively and Gafford, but they combined for 8 rebounds last night.
I was gonna say, offensively, defensively, where do you get? Yeah, you go cold. Yeah, you go cold with those two, and Porzingis put a beat down on both of them. So,
Yeah.
You know, what's your answer for him? He hasn't been playing in 2 series now, so it's like you just come off the bench. He's fresh. He's got legs. You know, Porzingis was up and down the court. Like, I have not seen him run like that in forever. So, you know, I guess also adrenaline, game one, first game back. You know, a lot of it is momentum, I guess you could say, for him as a player. But again, with regards to the overall series, I feel like game one, you always try to steal it.
My fault.
All good.
Technical difficulties.
Yep. So, but yeah, so I think as a series, I think you're willing to live with the consequences of game one on both sides. If you get it stolen, you bounce back game two.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose it, it's like you weren't supposed to win it. So I guess we can take it as it is. It was a bad loss, a good win. You know, whichever side of the voter platform that you're on and fan platform.
The Celtics have a lot to be happy about.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially you already have the joy of beating a team in the finals by 20. And you realize that your stars didn't perform as well as they definitely could.
Right.
But that's kind of what we talked about last week. Maybe we'll see this throughout.
Yeah, it could go the other way next game. Yeah,
right.
Tatum could definitely have the same game that Kyrie had, and Kyrie could definitely have the same game that Tatum had, and then their teams do opposite.
Right.
So both of these teams are, I don't want to say streaky, but like they can definitely both pull off those games.
Yeah,
those teams.
You know, like we said, if Tatum and Brown don't just take a ridiculous amount of shots,
like they didn't,
and get everyone else involved. I mean, Drew Holiday was involved. Obviously, Al Horford was involved. Porzingis was involved. Even your guys like Pritchard,
right?
Out there,
he was running the floor.
Obviously, the Celtics are are the better team.
And even
There's no
when they were
question,
getting a little bit, I guess you could say, cold in like, you know, when they got down 8 or something,
yeah,
all
yeah.
Brown did was start driving to the basket. Hey, y'all can't stop me. Hey, I'm gonna just take it to you. Tatum, same thing. You know, hey, I've only scored the 10 points. Like, let me just drive it real quick and then kick it to Al Horford in the corner.
Quarter,
You know,
yeah.
easy peasy. So, you know, again, and then now it's like kind of like you want this kind of, you know, 7-game series now because it's going to be beneficial to that new media rights of $76 billion that Amazon, ESPN, and NBC is now in on. So it's like for Adam Silver's, it's, you know, hey, keep it coming, boys. Like, you know, you're making, I mean, not only the league, but obviously all the players as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the revenue shares off of that is dramatic. Like,
Right.
it's definitely a huge benefit for them to, you know, play all 7 games. And I obviously, you know, every sports skeptic is like, oh, it's all scripted, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, as a business, you do kind of want it to go 7. Not that it will, but like you definitely, you know, money wise, want it to
Yeah,
go 7
money-wise,
games.
for
So
sure.
it's like, you know, for that, it's, you know, it's kind of beneficial. So, and then, you know, with $76 billion on the table, it's hard to not want more as a consumer, but also as the business. So it's like, all right, let's just keep it going. Like win, keep on winning, boys. More games. That's why the NFL, you know, 18 games, 83 games in the NBA. You know, all these games all keep adding up. So it's like not surprising that the money just keeps going up. Speaking of money going up, you know, Jay Jettas is now the highest non-quarterback paid player, and you know, I mean, you look at the Vikings organization not getting rid of Kirk, you knew it was coming. I mean, we just didn't know how much, and now that
Yeah.
he's paid, it's like, okay. So now next up on the non-quarterback side is Parsons, and he's with the Cowboys. He's gonna break their bank. Like, I legitimately am super interested to see how big they ask, like, to get Parsons, like, because he's gonna get more than Justin Jefferson. Like,
Yeah, but
he's going to be the most non-paid ever.
but the Cowboys
I
still have a lot
I don't know what they're gonna
more
get.
to work on.
Hey, I
So do
am
the
no Cowboy
Vikings.
fan, so that's on them. I don't know. I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, I wouldn't have given. I would have moved on from Dak a contract ago.
Yeah.
Like, I saw what his potential is as a quarterback, and unless, honestly speaking, unless you have a Justin Jefferson, you're probably not gonna be. I mean, you have a CeeDee Lamb, but
Right.
you need a Chase, or you need a Tyreek Hill, you need a you know, a double X factor, or even a Gronkowski, which they've never had a good tight end. I feel like for Dak.
Right.
And so for me, when I look at him as a quarterback to lead me to an NFL Super Bowl, I don't see it.
No.
I don't. I mean, I
No.
look at the defense, and I see a defensively good, you know, all-star studded defense, and then I look at the offense. I'm just like, oh well, okay, he's good, he's all right. And then I look at the quarterback, and we all know this is a quarterback-driven league. And I look at Dak, and it's like, Dak, I think you're a great quarterback. I think you do well at what you do. But you've
It's not
had those
enough.
opportunities. Yeah, you've
It's not
had those
enough.
opportunities, and still hasn't been enough. So do you move on? And you're literally about to make this man on your defense the highest pay ever.
Yeah, that's not. It wouldn't be smart. Obviously, he's that good, so he deserves the
Well,
money
he's
or
gonna
whatever
get
you
it.
want to say.
It's like a non-negotiable at
Yeah,
this point now.
sure.
Only because Jefferson got that money. If Jefferson didn't get as much as he did, it'd be a little bit different of a conversation, because they could be like, oh well, they didn't pay Jefferson because they knew what they wanted to do with their new, you know, their new quarterback.
Right.
You know, but they got him on a rookie deal. Like, you know, for Jefferson, there's nobody else to pay.
Exactly, and they're
So
not trying to win this year either.
no,
So
they're
it's
just chilling.
fine.
If they can be competitive, they'll be okay. No,
Right.
they're okay with that.
Lock up your best player
Yep.
and then try to
You got your
do
quarterback on a
maybe.
rookie deal. They're trying to pull a Brock Purdy. You know,
Yeah,
they're San
do
Francisco
or the Lions.
or Lions. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
work your way through the draft.
yeah,
See
yeah,
what you can do. I mean, that's kind of the draft is just so important for these teams like the Vikings and
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
so
J.J.
many teams
McCarthy
that
is
I
a
can name.
steal and a half. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're talking about quarterbacks of readiness, you're going to be able to throw to Justin Jefferson your first 3 years of your career, 4 years probably. You've got a decent offensive line in front of you. Your defense is pretty solid. They have a few holes that they need to fill, but like with regards to physical, teams that are not down like the Bears. Like the Bears are awful.
yeah,
Like Minnesota at least had a core group of guys that they can put together. Like the Bears had to go in and put pieces, and this guy was hurt, so let's grab him because he's gonna be cheap. Let's trade for the. They had a lot to do just like that. All the Vikings did were, hey Kirk, sorry, we're just not gonna pay you. Good luck. Like that was all they really did. So again, for that, it's kind of a big deal. And again, with regards to Parsons, it's going to be kind of the same mindset of, do you just say, hey, Dak, appreciate you. You did what we did what best you could do with the team that we gave you. So now we're just going to go ahead and move on. But then, you're going to say, oh, we're also going to pay Micah Parsons this much money. Like it's kind of like a shot in the face to Dak.
Yeah, but
I'm the quarterback.
It's a business.
I know. But I'm just saying.
If we're talking about, how the players would feel and all that kind of stuff, then yeah,
Of course.
But, it's to say that he doesn't deserve something like that.
Oh,
whereas,
no. Micah is definitely.
Well, Micah is definitely deserving, but like Dak, he had his chance.
It would have been different.
A lot of chances.
I was gonna say it would have been different if he was on his second contract, like not going on his third. Like Dak is going on his third. Next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
I don't know exactly.
I'll have to double check. You have to double check me on that one, but I believe next year for contracts he'll go into negotiations. But yeah, I mean, it's a quarterback driven league. So if you do that, I'm just trying to think
next year.
Yeah, next year, right?
Yeah.
2026, right? 2025.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I look at it on both ends, on the front office side and on the agent side. Like as if I'm looking at it from Dak's agent's perspective, I don't want to go anywhere. I am the face of this franchise and organization. They've already put so much into me. They've already invested a lot in me. I feel like Jerry Jones is that type of guy to ride or die with his quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But
that's just Jerry Jones, though.
But that's what I'm saying. But but as a career path for Dak, do I have faith in the team? I mean, I guess I do. I have to. I'm the quarterback.
Yeah, they probably won't come close to winning anything.
See, I think
crazy.
I was gonna say. I mean, I look at the NFC in general, and I don't know who the powerhouse is.
Niners.
But they lose every year. That's what I'm saying. The NFC, but even if
there's gotta be some. If we're just talking about the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, 49ers.
Premier NFC team?
49ers. Look at McCaffrey's extension. Speaking of extensions, how much better?
He deserves.
Well, of course, he is okay. And that's the other thing is he is 55% of their offense, 64%, whatever the crazy dynamic of their offense is run at least through him, whether it's running or passing. The dynamics of him in the backfield makes a huge difference because he's accounted for every single play on the defensive aspects. Where's McCaffrey?
The impact is crazy.
He is more of a call for a linebacker than the quarterback is, and who's outside of him. They call their defense based off where McCaffrey is lined up, not anything else. Not where Kittle is, not where Ayuk is. It's wherever it is Christian McCaffrey. That's where our defense is going to strengthen to. That's the crazy part. We haven't had that probably since Emmitt Smith, a running back where we're calling it no matter where he is. If he's in the slot, if he's in the a running back, fullback, we're calling it to him. Right. So it's been a while since we've had a running back of that caliber. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry, but he's more of just a run fit running back. Right. So it's a little bit different on the schematics point because McCaffrey will line up in the backfield and still do a wheel route on your linebacker and catch it for a touchdown. So. That's huge. And then really, I mean, again, he deserves that entirety of an extension. And it's you're going to pay Brock. You're probably not going to pay him
Not
upper
crazy,
echelons,
yeah.
but good enough to make it worth him to stay. Why would I want to? If I'm Brock, why would I leave anyways? The offense fits me. Nope, you got rid of your first rounder, your 2 first rounders. I mean, you got Jimmy Garoppolo gone. You got you got a Trey Lance sitting 3rd string on Dallas now. Like,
Yeah, nah, he'll get paid, and it'll be a huge step up.
no,
Whatever it is,
no matter
it's a
what it
huge
is, it's
step
going to be
up from-
huge for that rookie contract. It's
Yeah.
going to be disgusting. So either way, no matter what they say, it's going to be awesome. Like, I mean, and he's earned every single penny of it. So
Yeah.
John Lynch and them can sleep well when they pay Brock. Like,
Yeah.
like that'll be fine. So, that'll be huge. And then, getting even out of football into another championship, the NHL, we start tonight or tomorrow? Tomorrow night. We're in Florida. We're in Edmonton, and I mean, golly, this is a series. Just it's on the Panthers to lose.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
they are the better defense. They're offensive players. I feel like overall offensive lines, they just have the more depth.
Yeah,
like their depth at their front 3 lines could probably play 1s and 2s on most other teams. Like that's how good Florida is.
Yeah, they're just such a well put together team at this point. And
I mean,
it
ownership,
took a while
front
to come
office did
together.
it 3 years.
Right. Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is more so they never really had this kind of success.
No.
Before.
We had like 2 years back in the early 2000s. That was really about it.
The team is together now, and all these players, like we kind of talked about before we started, are locked in. All their main pieces are locked into their contracts for years to come.
Yep.
So there's no reason why they shouldn't be able
continuous.
to continue
playoff runs, continuous.
It's going to be great, and it's really going to open up South Florida for hockey too.
There was a whole news segment on how we need to build more hockey rinks in Florida, or ice skating rinks in Florida. But it's like it's true. I was like it's true. Like you can literally do more. There's plenty of room, but I just laugh because who would have thought maybe a decade ago we'd be having a conversation of Florida needs more ice hockey rinks. I grew up going to the Panthers games just for shits and gigs and to do something different. But they were never really. Not that they weren't good, but they were never really championship bound every year. Tampa always had a couple.
Hockey's exciting to watch.
I love playoff hockey. Is by far one of my most favorite. Playoffs in general is always good, but playoff hockey is upper echelons of competitiveness.
Is
it's because I think we don't really recognize how hard it is. To skate at that speed, the control of the puck. That puck. If you don't have, even a decent hand-eye coordination, you will never get your stick on that puck. It is crazy the difference of that level of skill set compared to I think we were talking about the basketball players that can play football and football that can play basketball. Ain't nobody playing football or basketball that can play ice hockey at the professional level. That is maybe 1 or 2 guys can get on the ice and maybe skate, but legitimately get on and play, nobody's getting on there. So that's a whole different level of skill, and obviously, of course, years and years of doing it obviously helped, and the same with basketball, football. But athleticism kind of can carry over one of those two, whereas that's a whole nother level of athleticism.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And then the Edmonton side of things, they kind of had they started out the year really bad. So for them to even be here is, after making the run, because a lot of people didn't think they were making it past the Canucks.
I didn't. Yeah, I thought they were done first round or first series.
Yeah, and then they went on to play. Doing this again. I don't remember who they played last round. I think
Dallas.
They beat the Stars.
They beat
Dallas.
The Stars. And I thought that was a good matchup. I thought them and Dallas was actually a very respectable matchup. I honestly thought Game 7 was coming for Dallas.
Yeah.
But then Game 6, Edmonton just put it into another gear of no, we want this more. So I think that's what gave it to me for Edmonton was Edmonton really, really wants this one. They really have put Dallas on their, on their radar to, hey, you're not gonna beat us. We're gonna beat you in 6. So
yeah, absolutely. And then As far as Edmonton goes, I think that they'll have more years of success like this.
They're
It would
pretty
be
decently
nice,
young. Like they're
yeah.
not old
You
team.
know,
Like they should be solid.
as we sit here in sunny South Florida, I think we both want the Panthers to
No doubt, no doubt.
probably win.
We're
Have
only
that
we're only like
parade.
25-35 minutes away from the arena,
They're
so
gonna shut down Sawgrass Expressway doing
bro,
the parade,
that'd be sick.
going around the mall.
Going around the mall, right from the. I mean, literally take the entirety of the Sawgrass and just do it straight to the arena. That'd be sick.
That would be pretty sick. Not gonna lie, but it'll be fun. Obviously it'll be exciting to watch. I'm sure you're gonna be watching.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I'll be watching. I'm sure a lot of you are gonna be watching as well. So playoff hockey. This is the
Yeah, I
pinnacle.
mean,
This
if
is
you
what we're
haven't,
for.
and I mean, even if you're not a Florida or an Edmonton fan, because there aren't really in America that many Edmonton fans. So
Probably not.
I'd like to see how the arena is, because for the Ranger series, it was New York deep in that arena. It was like awkwardly,
Right,
it was like
obviously,
awkwardly deep
because it's cheaper for people
Dude,
in New York to
people were
fly
living here. People were
Yeah.
literally living here who were Rangers fans for the last 20 years and haven't gone to a Rangers game in probably 20 years. And they're like, oh, let me get my Rangers jersey out because they're playing Florida and let's go to the game. But like the entirety of a stadium, you had sections of the stadium, in a playoff series. That's so hard in anywhere to get that.
Yeah,
Like,
and even with Edmonton, to what you asked or what you said, it's cheaper for them to come down here also. It's cheaper for them to fly here for a game, hotel, ticket, everything.
then go to
than it is-
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Same thing with New York.
I
That's
mean,
why
that
there's
I
so
believe.
many
I mean,
New
I was
Yorkers.
gonna say,
No, because Canada is expensive like that too. I mean,
really,
yeah,
I was gonna say
yeah.
it really is. I mean, like I'm going to Montana. My flight to Montana, I could have flown to New York back 3 times for my flight to Montana.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
my round trip flight to last time I was
Supply and demand.
$89, bro. Round trip
What, for what, New York?
from here to New York.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
$89.
Who goes to Montana?
Well, that too, but I'm just
know
saying,
what I
who
mean?
goes
No,
to
that's what I'm
Edmonton?
saying. Well, yeah. Well, Florida from Edmonton, people are
Well,
going.
I'm just saying in generally
Oh, yeah,
speaking.
no,
But
forget
like
it.
for New York to Florida, I mean that's an easy flight. That's like I said,
$2.5
$80. Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
So for me, I just laugh at it like, yeah, who's going to Edmonton too? It's saying Montana, yeah. So you take out the playoffs. Who the hell is going up there? So.
Not right now.
Not right now, at least.
Skiing. They have good
Yeah,
skiing,
of course. Yeah, that's where you're
it's about
going.
as far as the ball rolls.
Literally.
So.
But yeah, and then we'll transition into new news. Sorry, Cleveland Heights, I didn't mean to take your line. But new news of FHSAA approving NIL for high school now. Obviously, the school board of education still has to approve it and ratify it into law, but we produce some of the best talent, football,
Yeah, it's true.
and I mean athletically speaking, in the world.
You sent me that graphic a couple months ago about how
600
Florida
something
has,
players in the
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
Some crazy 300
I
something.
mean,
Like that's crazy.
the recruits that come out of Florida are just.
We have the last like 4 years have had the number 1 recruit, except for like I think there was one quarterback out of like Texas or something the last like 5.
Oh well.
So it's like, okay, he's still probably throwing to the number 1 wide receiver who's probably from here, like Jeremiah Smith. Like that man is the best wide receiver and number 1 in the country at Ohio State. Imagine 1 year of NIL, even though he's making crazy money at Ohio State, he's already used that money to donate back to Chaminade. Like crazy. That's how, especially now, like I even, looking at some of the guys that are obviously illegally signing with agents right now, which is another topic of conversation we can get into another time. But the players that are going to have the opportunities to go and get deals at a high school level is crazy. But it's only because of where they are. If they were anywhere else, not in Florida, not in Texas, not in California, where a school or a large football diversity, whether it's offensive line, defensive line, you could pick the position. You could probably find somebody Division I that's probably going to make it to a league in this state.
Right.
So it's like go to Tennessee, you're not going to have as much options. Like you're not going to have as many high school names behind it. So Florida is one of the few states that, not to say that Cali or Texas or any of those other states, but like one of the few states where kids are going to be able to earn life-changing money. You'll have some kids that can earn some money, but like I'm talking about, like there's probably a couple kids that I won't even say yet. They could probably get a free car as a high schooler. Like that's how crazy it is to me. Like that's how crazy. Like just to think about it in regards to college, going into high school, there are kids in my head right now in South Florida where as soon as it's ratified, I, as an agent, can sign them, go to a car dealership in the area, and be like, "What do you guys think on this deal?" And they'll do it because I'll have the graphics laid out of why it's worth it and what's gonna make the difference. Like that is like crazy to me. 2 years ago when this started, I never thought that'd be a thought in my head. But the fact that, legitimately speaking, you could have a kid driving around in a brand new car, that his, let's just say his parents couldn't afford it, they couldn't afford, no matter what, the fact that you could do that for a kid in high school is insanity. So like, I mean, it was a matter of time. Like it really was. Like you weren't, like I said, FHSAA never had a good leg to stand on. As soon as Georgia approved it, it was like, Florida, if you don't approve it, you're going to watch an excess flow of kids leave. Top tier kids leave. Why would I not, if I knew I could go up one state for 1 year, 2 years, and earn that type of money? Why wouldn't I? Who cares about high school? I've already got my offers. I can make my decision next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is like, and that's where I kind of think that some of these kids are probably thinking with signing with the agent, oh, if FHSAA tells me I can't play this year, what do I care? I already have my offers.
Well, if they can't take them away?
They can, but that's what these kids are going to think. They already offered me. Why I don't even want to play this year. You know what?
Gotta have smart agents.
That's the problem.
So something like this now, for you being an agent in Florida, do you see this as a good thing?
And there's pros and cons to everything like this. So it's like, yeah, it's a good thing. It gives kids who have the opportunity to earn money.
But as an agent, though,
sticky situation. I mean, there's, like I said, pros and cons to it all. Like pros, you get to definitely help kids and get them educated first and foremost on the NIL world before they even get to college, where they're dealing with other stuff. And then secondly, it's like now you're dealing with competition even earlier of other agents. Like these other agents signed kids like yesterday, but it's like, dude, it just got approved on the 4th. That was 1 day ago. So it's like, how early were you talking to these kids? It's like sketchy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you really just signed this kid in high school, like because he has a bunch of offers. Have you ever gone to, any of his games? Like,
probably not.
That's what I'm saying. Like how hard have you been watching these kids? How much interaction have you? It's like, as an agent, kind of paints a bad picture, especially because it hasn't been ratified. So it's like now you're risking your pro license, your state license. It's like all the other stuff, and then it's going to be
and your reputation.
Yeah, and your reputation. So it's like a lot of it is, as an agent, you should be the most careful. Like like if anything, like you should be the ones to double check with FHSAA, with the Board of Education. Like that should be your first and foremost, because at the end of the day, the high school kids aren't going to do that.
No,
it's like why do I care? Like I said,
they just want to make their money.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't blame them. Like I don't blame any kid. Be about your money. Like that's what my job is to do, is to help you make it. Like it's literally in my job description to make sure that it's my due diligence to make sure everything that you're doing is in the court of law, is in the state, is in the lines of which we're drawn up for this NIL. So if your agent doesn't do that, then that's a bad agent. That's just plain and simple. So, some of these guys risking the eligibility of some of these kids already, and it's been 72 hours in, is like blasphemy. Like it's like bewildering to me. Like how you haven't even thought of that. Like you've been an agent. I'm not gonna name anybody, but like you've had multiple clients and make it to the league and stuff like that, and now you're gonna risk another young kid's eligibility just because. Like that's bad. That's just, to me, exactly why I became an agent, because of guys like that, just jumping the gun for that type of reason.
Yeah, like what? Like clout, I guess.
Yeah, it literally is.
It doesn't really make any sense. It's to say like, hey, I did this. Like,
right, and really you're only jumping the gun because you want to, because it becomes ratified in July.
You gotta wait.
Why not? I mean, it's really not a big deal to do 1 month more, literally. So,
well,
again,
the end of July, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
It's just more the fact of it's a month away. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. But the fact that you're really, as an agent, you're willing to risk a player's eligibility for, I mean, again,
your own advances,
just because you want to post it on IG early.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. All right, do it. Go ahead, do your thing. I honestly, I don't even care. I'm no snitch, so I know I'm not gonna be the one. But if a rival high school wants to, bro, they can just be like, yo, did you see such and such? Send that screenshot over to FHSAA. There goes his eligibility. If they really want to put the hammer down.
Yeah.
Like, if FHSAA doesn't care, or
it'll be interesting to see between now and July 24th how many
hammers.
People,
how many hammers, how many nails.
If any.
Exactly.
And then we'll have something new to talk about.
Yeah, because then you go to courts.
Yeah.
Because then what happens is that player sues the agent. And then that agent goes to disciplinary and the PAs. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a slippery slope for an agent that wants to do it the wrong way. No doubt. So
they sue the agent if they have enough money to sue the agent.
It doesn't matter. They'll get all the money that they're, they can say that they thought they would have earned as NIL. Potential losses.
How do you put that together? How do you?
You can go. You just put the numbers. You create them. Say, hey, look, these kids are making this much money in Cali. I was a higher recruit than them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, if a kid, say you're the number 3 receiver, and the number 8 receiver out in Cali's making $250,000. I'm 5 spots ahead of him. I should be making $500,000. I'm suing you because the numbers say that I should be making this much.
Yeah. Plus, what? Whoever loses the case pays lawyer fees for the other.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, most likely. That's probably thrown in there anyways. But if I'm a lawyer, I'm a sports lawyer, I'll probably do it pro bono.
Oh yeah.
Just to put my name on, and then that way he can sign with me in the future. So that'd be my logic.
You never thought about going that route?
That was the original route, but once I found out I didn't have to go to law school, I was just like, I'm out. But pre-law and college was, good enough.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, again, the contractual side of everything I did in my undergrad. So it's like I went through. My teachers put my ass to the fucking shed. Like they put it on me, because once they knew that I wanted to be an agent, they were like, okay, well, you need to learn this hard. Like, you need to know this like the back of your hand. Like the collective bargaining agreements, like to learn those, it's so dry and boring and stuff like that. Like the law books that I read were so bad. Like there's no color. There's no it is just plain. It is so
it's the way
boring.
It is. Like
it is literally black and white. There is no gray. Like you can find a little bit of gray in some cases where you can defend yourself, but like majority of it is, that's what happened. This is why. That's it. Like those are your options. Like law is not fun. It is not entertaining. If you find it entertaining, you're a weirdo. I don't really care what you say. Like Suits is entertaining because it's a show, but it is not that fun. I promise you. Like having a photographic memory would definitely make it helpful, as watching Suits, but it is still not that entertaining. I promise. Like
you heard it here first.
So, but again, the FHSAA, how many nails, how many hammers are coming down? I don't know. We'll find out in about a month. So we'll get back to you guys once we start seeing them. But again, do you, as FHSAA, do you want to lose those players?
No, probably not. Probably not. And
because then you end up getting sued anyways.
Right. You said earlier, to bring up this point, it's so cool when you have people like Jason Tatum and Matthew Tkachuk that are in the same exact high school, and now they're
playing in 2 different professional championships.
That's still recognition for the high school, because obviously I saw another video the other day. Something came out of Jason Tatum playing against some NBA player in high school. They were playing against each other.
Right.
I forget who the other player was, but like it's exposure for that high school.
Yeah,
you
no
want
doubt
to be able to say, Like,
Yeah.
I used to play basketball in high school. I went to Lake Worth High School, and they had a huge, like, picture of Otis Thorpe
Right.
from the NBA. Like, schools take pride in that.
Hello.
It brings money to the school. It brings recognition to the school. Why would you not want those kids
I
to
mean,
stay?
like even like when I played against like Dwyer and the Bosa brothers, like Dwyer had Jacoby Brissett and Nick O'Leary, like who both made it to the NFL, like Johnny Dixon, like the Bosa brothers at St. Thomas, like who else was coming out during my time in high school? Like all these guys that all made it to the NFL, all of them. Like not that they were just good football players in college. They were NFL league bound players. Some are still playing. So it's like crazy to think that here we are, you know, over a decade later, even out of college, that they're still around and stuff. So, you know, it's just crazy. Yeah, that why as FHSA would we want possible legends? You know, I'm not saying that any of them are, but I mean, Bosa's probably going to be, you know, like Jacoby Ford, who's probably going to come on. He's, you know, just got inducted to the Palm Beach Hall of Fame. Coming out of college, he was a stud that the Raiders got to pick up in the 3rd or 4th round. You know, so things like that with, do you really want to take the risk to cut these kids off?
No.
Because they signed early? I don't know. Because do you need to make an example for other kids? I don't know. FHSA has a lot on their hands. Because then, either way, for FHSA, they still end up getting sued. Like, so even if they're in the right, they'll still end up trying to get sued by the players. Hey,
right.
you ruined my eligibility because you guys approved it, blah, blah. You know, it's just,
you know, it's important
so much.
still because think about all these private schools that before all this existed were paying.
Recruiting, scholarships.
Yeah, they were paying people. So if it was important then, without all these new laws, why would it not be important now to keep these players, make sure your school is the best at something? Well, sports-wise, make sure it's the best at football,
we have so many
or
prep schools and stuff
or,
too, like that. You know, you offer those schooling, and then you get to go, and you just go just because you want to play football, just because you want to play basketball.
And you know, maybe it gives the players in high school more leverage too to decide where they want to go. You know, it used to be Nick Saban would show up to St. Thomas, land the helicopter on the field.
That's all Norvell does now.
Blah blah blah. Like
Kirby
Norvell,
Smart.
Sure,
they all do that.
But maybe now a kid can look and say, "I made this off high school in NIL."
Right.
Maybe I don't have to go to Alabama.
Yeah, maybe I fell in love with. Hey, maybe I fell in love with Montana. Hey. I mean, you know,
North Dakota?
Yeah, North Dakota State.
Dakota?
Like, I want to go win a national championship, and I know North Dakota State wins them. So,
because if the whole thing was about money at first, and you know, like, you know, Alabama is gonna pay me this or whatever before.
Right.
Now it's like, I want to go be competitive and show how good I am on a good team, but not the best team.
Maybe why not even, or even not to that, and not only to that extent, but also I don't really want to leave my family.
Exactly.
I don't really. I love Florida.
Exactly.
Why do I want to leave? I go to FAU, FIU. I mean, shit. If you're good enough to go to Miami, why? I mean, why would I want to leave?
I mean, you made all this money in high school, and I'm sure that they'll give you something as well. Even if you go to the FIUs,
right?
The FIUs these days, they probably have something for you if you're that good.
FIU has huge banners of Fountain Blue because the guy who created the Fountain Blue went to FIU.
Oh, really?
Yes, bro. That's what
Fountain Blue money.
When Denver and I first signed together, when he was at FIU, that was like the dream NIL deal.
Oh, yeah,
we were I try to get in touch with everybody for FIU for a connection to Fountain Blue, because all they do is all their hospitality. They just literally send them over to Fountain Blue to get something done, like an internship or something like that. And it's like smart. The owner is an FIU grad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, why not?
Absolutely,
I mean, it's genius. So, you know, same with UCF, sending kids to Disney, like hospitality, like. It's literally down the street. Why would we not send kids there? Like, why would we not try to build a program based off Disney? You know, it's like it all makes sense.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
You know, again, where we sit. I mean, I know everybody and their mother has their opinion on NIL as a whole in general. Like college, high school now. You know, it is what it is. It's here. it's right. Like NIL for players is right. You can't even sit there and say that it's not because the NCAA took too long to get their shit together to make it right, to make it where there's rules and regulations. So the revenue sharing and all that stuff, which we'll get into another episode, that's now coming to fruition for players and teams and stuff like that. We'll get into that in another episode, but it's only right. Everybody else, the amateurism side, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and they were getting zero of it. I don't care what anybody says, that's not right.
No.
So we'll get into that another episode. But, for us, I think as an agency, you saw who I'm talking to. You saw what we're getting ready to do. I mean, it's going to be, talk about lights out the next, 5 years. Woo!
Exciting stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting stuff.
We're going to be rocking and rolling here in these next few weeks. Next week, got one more episode before the Europe trip. So we'll do another one before I leave. We'll get into the Caitlin Clark reactions. We'll have some more games under our belts for the NHL and NBA championships. Really excited to see how, I guess you could say, how these next month or so with OTAs, paying everybody, what all comes to fruition from all this stuff, because it's going to set the tone for the next 10 years. Like that $76 billion media deal, that is, absolutely insane. Like the fact that we're even talking about billions like that is insane. So, again, a lot of stuff to come, and that's kind of why this podcast, and generally speaking, has such a upside, because we always have something.
Always something.
Like we haven't even really dove into baseball or anything.
Basis,
yeah, every week is something. Like that's why I believe what we're doing and how we're doing it is the best way. We're not at the point where we can go live every Tuesday. Like hopefully we can have that during the year, to go live.
Apple Podcasts,
yes,
Spotify,
exactly. I have all that account. We just have to link it. Like it's just I have all of it. We just have to link. Yeah, all the Spotify and everything. Yeah, it just has to be linked to the Buzzsprout account. So, but again, kind of one of those things where it's like, just need to get on it. Like I have it. I'm just being so, I don't want to say counterproductive, but other stuff is productive, as well.
Of course.
So it's like, those are things I want to hand off to you and to Isaac and guys like that to just, hey, when it's done, post it. When it's done, post it. Kind of like the YouTube shorts. Like as soon as you're done, post them. If it's not the right time, and I kind of want to get that scheduling down too. It's like, this makes a difference. Like scheduling our days. Like if we have something like the, Europe, Vegas schedule, like obviously it's not going to go to schedule, but we can plan something. So, but just want to say thanks again for joining us. We're going to keep them coming. We're back again next week, and then the week after that, Europe. So we'll be basically, I guess we'll have a week hiatus. Yeah. I don't know how big of a internet connection I'll have to be able to
that's fine.
Upload. So we'll get next week done.
Maybe
the week
I can try something. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll see if I can upload it to the drive, and if the drive,
we'll
we can get it edited from Ruben. That's no problem.
why not?
So he's actually in London right now.
Oh, okay.
So, thanks again for listening. No Client Agent Privilege, a.k.a. NoCAP Podcast. It's your boy Evan, your boy Will, and we will see you guys next week.